My girlfriend's ex DM'd me. She settled for you. She'll be back. I showed her the message. She smirked. Well, he doesn't know me better than you. I said, great, then go back. She left with attitude. But an hour later, the police knocked on my door, asking for her, and the reason they gave made even me sit down. I'm Aaron, 34, and up until a few nights ago, I genuinely thought my life was normal. Not perfect, but the usual stuff: work stress, gym routines, quiet evenings with my girlfriend Lauren. We've been together about 7 months, long enough for me to feel like I knew her. Not long enough, I guess, to realize how much of her world was smoke and mirrors. And honestly, the whole thing started with a message that looked stupid, petty, almost laughable. One of those X thinks he still owns her situations. But that DM ended up being the thread that unraveled everything. The message was from an account named at Tyler_Ray_Fit24, and it read, she settled for you. She'll be back. A stupid little taunt. I screenshotted it immediately because, honestly, who wouldn't? When I showed Lauren, she didn't look shocked or embarrassed or annoyed. She just smirked like she'd been expecting it. Classic Tyler, she said, twirling a fork like she was amused. He does this with every guy I date. That should have been my first clue that something was off. Most people don't consider harassment from an ex to be cute or routine. But I didn't jump to conclusions. I gave her the benefit of the doubt, because that's what you're supposed to do in a relationship, right? But then she added, well, he does know me better than you. And there was this weird little shrug, like she was stating a scientific fact, not jab-stabbing me straight in the ribs. We argued, not yelling, but tense, sharp, the kind of conversation that feels like stepping on broken glass. I told her she thought he knew her so well, then maybe she should go back. She grabbed her purse, stormed out, slammed the door. I figured that was the end of it for the night. I honestly thought I'd get a text in an hour saying she needed space or she wanted to talk. I didn't expect police officers at my door. 2 uniformed officers. A middle-aged woman with a stern look and a younger guy scribbling on a pad. Are you Aaron Shaw? The woman asked. My stomach dropped, because when police ask your name at 8:30 p.m., nothing good follows. Yes, I said. We're looking for Lauren Dawson. Is she here? I told them she left an hour earlier. The officer flipped a page on her clipboard and said words I wasn't prepared for. Her ex-partner, Tyler Matthews, filed a restraining order against her today. We need to serve her with the paperwork. I swear I forgot how to breathe for a second. A restraining order? Against Lauren? I actually laughed out of shock at first. I think you have the wrong person, I said. She said Tyler's the one who can't stop messaging her. The officers exchanged one of those looks people give each other when they know something you don't. The woman asked if they could come inside. I let them in because what else do you do? They sat down like they'd done this 100 times and started explaining. According to Tyler, he hadn't voluntarily spoken to Lauren in over a year. She'd been harassing him for months. Hundreds of texts, dozens of phone calls, showing up at his job, following him, messaging from fake accounts when he blocked her, and he had documentation, screenshots, timestamps, witness statements. He finally went to court that afternoon, and a judge granted the temporary restraining order. Has she shown any concerned behavior toward you? The officer asked. My mind was spinning. She talks about him a lot, I admitted, but I thought he was harassing her. The woman nodded like she'd heard that line before. Then she asked to see the DM that started the fight. I pulled up Instagram and showed her. She studied the username. This isn't Tyler's real account, she said. Look closely. I zoomed in. The username was at Tyler_Ray_Fit24. I clicked his profile. It was full of gym selfies, but when I compared it to the real one, at Tyler_Fit, I realized the messaging account had an extra letter missing. Lauren had made a fake account. Lauren had pretended to be her ex-Lauren, had sent that message to me herself. Something inside me flipped, like a trapdoor opening. All those stories she'd told. Tyler showing up at places. Tyler sending her late-night texts. Tyler begging her back. None of it was real. None of it. The police stayed long enough to take notes, and give me a card with a case number. They asked for Lauren's address. I gave it. They left. And when the door shut, the silence in my apartment felt like a physical thing pressing down on my chest. I didn't want to reach out to Tyler. I really didn't. But curiosity, fear, confusion, whatever it was, pushed me to message him from his real account. I apologized for the trouble, told him about the police coming, about the fake DM. He responded within minutes. I figured she was trying to set something up again, he wrote. She does that. He said Lauren couldn't accept breakups. She constructed entire narratives to justify why she was still contacting him. Fake accounts, fake emergencies, fake harassment. He'd tried ignoring her, blocking her, avoiding her, but she escalated. We talked for an hour. I learned more about my girlfriend in those 60 minutes than I had in 7 months. She'd broken into his gym locker, once to leave a note. She showed up at his mother's house, pretending they were reconciling. She texted him daily from random numbers. She'd done the same thing to the guy before Tyler. The same patterns, the same stories, the same lies. She probably planned to make you think I was threatening her, he wrote. That's what she does. She needs someone to rescue her from some imaginary danger. By the time I hung up, I felt sick. Not angry. Sick. Like someone had swapped out my girlfriend with a stranger wearing her skin. Lauren called me 17 times that night. I didn't answer. Her voicemail shifted from confused to furious to sobbing. Why are the police looking for me? Then, you told them lies about me, followed by I just want to protect us. And then, Tyler I.S. harassing me, you idiot. I blocked her number. I blocked the fake account, though she deleted it within the hour. She cleaned up her tracks like she'd done it before. By morning, Tyler sent me copies of the restraining order documentation, pages and pages, text chains, call logs, surveillance screenshots from his workplace, her appearing in places she shouldn't have been. Even a few DMs of me from yet another account she created pretending to be Tyler, probably for future proof. Seeing it all laid out like that made it real in a way my brain could no longer dodge. Later that afternoon, Lauren showed up at my door. She knocked softly at first, like she was pretending to be calm. I didn't open. She called my name through the door. Aaron, we need to talk. Her voice cracked, but I wasn't sure if it was real or just another performance. We really don't, I said. The police told me everything. I talked to Tyler. I know what's been going on. Silence. A long one. Then she said very quietly, he's lying. That was almost laughable. He has a restraining order, Lauren. You've been contacting him for months. You created fake accounts. You pretended to be him to message me. Do you know how insane that sounds? She didn't deny it. She didn't say a word. I think that was the moment she realized she'd been caught in a situation she couldn't charm or manipulate her way out of. I just wanted, she started. I don't care what you wanted. I cut in. You manipulated me. You dragged me into your obsession. You used me to validate some story in your head where you're the victim and he's the monster. That's not love. That's not even close. She shifted her weight. I heard her breathing unevenly. Just let me in, she whispered. We can fix this. No, I said. Leave, or I'm calling the police. She left. That was the last conversation we ever had in person. The next few weeks were messy in the background kind of way. Lauren violated the restraining order twice, once by showing up at Tyler Gym parking lot, and once by having a friend call him on her behalf. She was charged with harassment and stalking. Our mutual friend, Emily, the one who introduced us, called me crying, saying she had no idea Lauren had these issues. Apparently, Lauren had always framed her past relationships as toxic men who wouldn't leave her alone. It turned out she had flipped that story every time. Meanwhile, I started therapy. I kept asking myself how I hadn't seen the signs, how I let myself get pulled into something so clearly warped. My therapist said people like Lauren can seem composed, charismatic, even charming, while hiding deep instability. They wrap their reality around you slowly, gently, until their version of events feels plausible, even logical. And they do it subtly, so you don't notice how far you've drifted. I thought back to all the times Lauren had mentioned Tyler. Too often, too detailed, too emotionally loaded. How she always insisted she was the one being bothered. How she painted him as obsessed. How she seemed weirdly pleased when I got tense or defensive about him. How she smirked when she saw that DM. Like it was a private joke only she understood. I thought about how she told me, "Well, he does know me better than you." I think that was the only genuinely honest thing she said to me. Tyler and I stayed in loose contact. Not friends, exactly, but connected, like we both escaped the same burning house. He apologized again for everything, which was insane because none of it was his fault. He was dating someone new but keeping it quiet, afraid Lauren would find a way to worm herself in or escalate. Part of me understood that fear. Another part of me hated that I understood it. About 6 weeks after everything happened, I got a message from a new Instagram account with no picture. "Do you ever think about me?" it said. I didn't have to guess who it was. I sent it straight to the police. They added it to her file. I didn't hear from her again after that. Life moved on, slowly. I started going out again, meeting people carefully, watching for red flags I never knew existed before. I stopped assuming someone's past was always someone else's fault. I stopped letting people's narratives go unquestioned just because they said it with emotion. And I learned something I didn't think I'd ever have to learn. Sometimes the person claiming they're being stalked is actually the stalker. Sometimes the crazy ex isn't crazy at all. They're desperate to get away from someone who refuses to let go. And sometimes the person you're dating isn't who they say they are. They're a version of themselves they need you to believe. The night the police knocked on my door, I thought they were there because Lauren had filed some complaint about me after our fight. I didn't expect them to ask for her. I didn't expect to learn I had been dating someone who lived inside a world of her own making, dragging people into it like undertow. I didn't expect to learn that the DM I saw, the one that started all of this, wasn't from her ex at all. It was from her, to herself, to me, a piece of manufactured drama, to keep her story alive. It took everything falling apart for me to finally see the truth, and once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. I'm Aaron, 34, single again, and I finally understand what it means to trust your gut, even when someone you care about is feeding you a version of reality that feels easier to believe. Sometimes, the only way out of someone else's chaos is to walk toward the truth, even if it hurts. And sometimes, the truth knocks on your door wearing a police badge. That's where my story ends.